One man, one mission, watch all Walt Disney movies. This is Death by Disney. Hello, welcome to the Death by Disney podcast, the world famous podcast. I'm your host Adam, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Reluctant Dragon. But first, let me tell you a bit about my mission. My mission is to watch all Disney films in existence, the good, the bad, the ugly, the in-between. There's only 2 rules of my mission. The first is that I watch absolutely everything. So Disney, Pixar, everything that was produced by Walt Disney Studios or under another company's name, but really produced by them and released by them. The other rule is that this podcast must go chronologically. I can watch any Disney movie I want at any time, but the episodes must be done in a chronological order. So, therefore, today's episode is The Reluctant Dragon. You might be thinking, The Reluctant Dragon? I've never heard about that movie before, and I hadn't heard about it either before I watched it, so here is the plot synopsis from Disney. Excited at the idea of producing a film about a children's book, humorist Robert Benchley visits the Walt Disney Studio to offer the idea. At the studio, Benchley evades an enthusiastic young tour guide and, wandering about the lot, goes into a drawing class. He then visits a soundstage where he watches a couple recording a song, unaware they provide voices for famous cartoon characters. Benchley later visits the camera stage and then the animation department, where he discovers a surprise. So the film was released in 1941 by Walt Disney, and it has different stories in it, but The Reluctant Dragon of the title is a story by Kenneth Grahame, which was published, I think, in 1898 or somewhere around then. So I will tell you what I think about the movie in a moment, but that sound you just heard means it is time for me to regale you with some of the trivia about the film that I discovered. There's not a lot, honestly, because this is not that famous of a film, but the most interesting one that I found was it was censored by the Hays Office. And the Hays Office, I think I've mentioned them before on the podcast, but they were basically this office that censored movies, but they were run by Hollywood because they felt that maybe the government would step in and censor them if they didn't do it themselves. But one of the reasons why it was censored is the dragon character had a belly button, and they were like, no, you can't draw a dragon with a belly button. So they had to remove it. And I'm not sure what the objection there was. Was it, because people were taking it in a kind of, what's the word? An over-sexualized manner to see a belly button on a dragon? Or were they more like, dragons are clearly reptiles, and there's no way that a reptile needs an umbilical cord because a reptile is born from an egg and not in the uterus like in the womb like a mammal. I don't know. I don't know what the objection to that was, but honestly, it was kind of funny. The next interesting bit is it doesn't really tell you that in the plot summary I read before, but the movie is half in black and white, and then there are like animated bits, and it's basically a tour of a animation studio, a Walt Disney studio, and then there are like brief animated bits. And there's one part called Baby Weems, and in this part, it shows Mount Rushmore. And I noticed this too. It looks kind of weird because there's only two presidents on Mount Rushmore, and I thought, though, that's weird. Are they going to carve Baby Weems's face into the rock? And they actually do that. But the reason why there was two at the time is because they hadn't completed the monument yet. So Theodore Roosevelt, and Thomas Jefferson were missing from the monument. And the other bit of trivia is that World War II closed Europe to American movies, and that basically devastated Disney's revenue. So when this was released, it was done as sort of a way to save the studio because they were losing a lot of money. And it did do that, but people were upset because they were expecting a fully animated story. But this is more like, as I said before, a glorified animation studio tour with little bits of cartoons stuck in it. So I'm going to be telling you my review in a moment, so stick around for that. In my quest to watch all of Disney's films chronologically, I have to say that this was the first I actually kind of liked. It starts out in black and white with a woman reading a children's story, and she says that it would make a great Disney picture. The woman and the man then travel to the Disney studio, where he takes a tour around the place while trying to meet Walt Disney. When the tour happens, it then switches to color. It's good because it gives you a sort of idealized sense of what it took to make animation back in those days. And the way that the animation is explained is quite clever. There's one scene where Donald Duck comes to life and explains how he is moving, which caused me to chuckle. There's another scene where a classically trained opera singer is about to sing and duck noises come out of her throat, so that's also fun. The film is a bit marred by its history. There's a few racist characters inside the film, and it was released at a time when the animators who worked for Walt Disney were on strike, so most of the animators you see in the film are not actually animators, but actors pretending to be animators, so that's kind of weird. And when it came out, it was actually protested by those animators because they were still on strike, but it would be very strange to watch the movie later and see, your work being passed off as the work of some actor. So very strange. There's probably no better depiction of the process of producing animation from its time. So I highly, not reluctantly, recommend it. Eh? You see what I did there? So that's my point of view, but obviously many other people have other points of view, so stick around for those. So I'm taking the reviews from the Internet Movie Database, and I like to take the lowest reviews that I can find, and the highest reviews that I can find, and compare and contrast them. But I think this is telling as to how good the movie actually is, that there aren't any one-star reviews. Now, granted, there's only 30 reviews, so there's not many, but there's no one-star reviews, there's no two-star reviews, there's no three-star reviews, there's no four-star reviews, there's only a 5-star review. Let me get that out of the way first, and then I'll give you a positive review. So this is The Reluctant Dragon, 5 out of 10 by PixRocks1 from 12th of February 2022. Warning, spoilers, it's included as a bonus feature on disc 2 of the Chronological Donald 2004 DVD set. Does this Donald Duck focused clip suggest that it's worth your time to watch The Reluctant Dragon in its 2-hour entirety? In a word, no. So you didn't even watch the whole thing. It's just you watched a clip of it from something else and you're like, oh, I don't want to watch it because this clip makes me seem like it would be bad. But, watch the whole thing, especially if you're a fan of animation and Disney. It's like, this is one of those movies that I'm sure even people who are really big fans of Disney might not have watched. And it's good. It's really, really quite good. So here's the positive one. It's entitled An Overlooked Gem by Boss Kane 19 from January 2004. Reluctant Dragon is best viewed in the Disney Treasures Behind the Scenes DVD. This story, combined with Baby Weems and Goofy's How to Ride a Horse, makes this a magical treat for all ages. Timeless Disney classic. The live-action scenes of the original voices of Donald Duck and Clara Cluck are a rare joy to see. I completely agree with that. Because Donald Duck and those other characters are such larger-than-life figures you don't really... obviously, you realize that there are people behind everything. There's a person drawing it, there's a person writing it, there's a person voicing it, and all of that stuff. But to actually get a peek behind the curtains, it's a pretty interesting movie to see. And if you like drawing, if you like animation, and you're not a big fan of Disney, this also is a good movie to see. So it sounds like I'm recommending it highly, and I am.